Hi everybody, it's Dandruff with your news cartridge for Friday, September 30th, 2016. Ubisoft CEO continues to talk about the Nintendo NX, saying he believes, quote, Nintendo will be back in the race. Well, could we just fucking see it already, Nintendo? Meanwhile, Xbox's Phil Spencer has made some comments in regards to Scorpio, saying the new console should retail for under $600 US. And even if it's $599, let's face it, it will be, that's not too crazy for high-end equipment. If you're a fan of the theater, the London Paladins will be hosting an orchestra which will play selections from the Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Ubisoft has opened registration for the closed alpha for Steep. You can find a link below to sign up. And if you play on console and are interested in Paladins, the newest release by Hi-Rez Studios, sign-ups for its open beta have begun. The starter edition for Rainbow Six Siege is back on Steam and you can get into the game for just $15. If you pre-ordered Gears of War 4, then you already knew you could preload it, but what's included in the preload is the day one patch, so you can get started playing right away. A little insight has been given into the horrible launch of Pokemon Go. Niantic was expecting 50 times less traffic. Yeah, hopefully next year's expansion won't see the same problems. And today is the last day for September's games for Xbox Live Gold subscribers. For our first release announcement, 3 games are coming from an unlikely source. Amazon. Yeah, Amazon is making games. Weird, huh? The Tau, a race from Warhammer 40k, have come to Battlefleet Gothic Armada. Pick it up on Steam right now for just $7 or your regional equivalent. A mod for Terraria called Super Terraria World changes the game into a full-fledged RPG. Trials of Osiris returns today to Destiny, but only to the current gen. And finally for teasers, the pre-order bonus for Dishonored 2 lets you play the game a whole day early, which is a pretty shitty pre-order bonus if you ask me, and even the lawyers who represent Hello Games have given the advice to not pre-order games. So what does that tell you? Battleborn is going free to play, but according to Gearbox, it's not going free to play, but there might be a free version. Find out what the hell I mean today on News Cartridge. I need to start this one off with a bit of a disclaimer. I know this person very well, so much so that I would consider them a friend. So with that in mind, I will try to remain as objective as possible. A Twitch streamer named Fioli was banned yesterday for streaming as the passenger in a car on her way to TwitchCon. Self-harm was indicated as the reason for the ban. Now, while Twitch may be well within their rights hidden in the legal jargon of their terms of service, there is nothing that specifically states streaming from a moving vehicle is not allowed. Even the Twitter post from Twitch support 2 months ago only asks that you please not broadcast from a moving vehicle, but again does not cite this in the TOS. The only follow-up to their plea explains even passengers can distract the driver and to not be like the app, in reference to Pokemon Go. The counter-argument to that is the driver can distract themselves, no app, no streamer, no passengers at all. So what do you do then? Now, all I'm asking for is a little consistency, because another streamer known as Streamer House did the exact same thing, streaming themselves in a moving vehicle on the way to TwitchCon. The video freezes shortly after it begins, but it's clearly the same thing, and yet they saw no punishment. This does not sit well with me, one because my friend is in duress, but the other is a feeling of helplessness, as my own Twitch channel, or yours, could be the victim of a not so clearly defined policy. And over here on YouTube, we are all familiar with the recent not so clearly defined policy changes about ad revenue content, or ad friendly content that is, and the Heroes program. This is a trend that needs to stop. All we're asking for as content creators is to have clearly defined policies and guidelines which are enforced after being told, not before. Up next, we're going to figure out the puzzle that is Battleborn going free to play. Off the bat, Randy Pitchford at Gearbox Software says he heard a story about Battleborn going free to play and says it's not true, but then immediately says that the game will have some sort of free trial version, and then backpedals even further, saying the free trial isn't firm yet and might not happen at all. So my best guess is that in some time, there'll be a character rotation system, much like League of Legends or Smite. I think it would work out better if the game did have a demo of sorts, whatever you want to call it. Battleborn has been overshadowed by Overwatch since its launch, and it released before Overwatch. It's not very fair to it. Hopefully it does happen, but Pitchford says that if it did, it wouldn't be until after much more DLC is released, and don't expect it for months. Quickly today, we're going to cover a leak that just happened minutes before me writing the story. Not only will PC gamers have the option of a GTX 1050, but a 1050 Ti is coming at some point too. It will feature 4 gigs of RAM instead of the 2 alleged on the 1050, though it will have a lower clock speed with more CUDA cores. The last piece of information I have for you is the 3D Mark score, which is just over 10,000. No pricing information just yet, but I will have that as soon as it's available. To end the week, there is some updates on the new Mini NES coming out later this year. For the price of $60 US, you get 30 classic Nintendo games, including Super Mario Bros., Duck Hunt, Mega Man, The Legend of Zelda, Donkey Kong, and Ice Climbers. Each game not only has a digital manual included, but a save function, so you don't have to soldier through each one in a single session. One thing that should be noted is there's no home feature, so you'll have to reset the console every time you want to change games or save files. And the wired controllers have an extremely short cable, so keep that in mind if you're planning on getting one for yourself or as a gift for a loved one during the holidays, which are coming up very quickly. Also revealed today, Japan is getting their own version of the Mini NES, but because the NES was not released in Japan, they're getting a Mini Famicom. Most of the games are the same except for a few sports games. The Mini NES releases on November 11th. Once again, it's time for Monday's game releases because I'm off for the next 2 days because I have to go throw barrels at a plumber. For PC, Guided Meditation VR, Carton, Final Days, Disturbed, Helmet Heroes, Maze Sounds, So Many Cubes, Mythic Victory Arena, Super Mixtape, and Spellforge. Thank you very much, everybody. This has been News Cartridge. I am Dandruff. I will see you on Monday. And what school activity does Roadhog like to do? Play hooky.